This is the work that I'm doing for Google Summer of Code 2024, and this is for Tardis or Tardis. Basically, I want focus to the list goes the list of GSoC are some of these, and I want to focus on benchmarking. And I am doing this video because I work in some development environment, but maybe it could be difficult to understand. I'm trying to create some document, but looks like it's easier if I show how it's work. I create this development environment for to do easy the part of the test Tardis and make changes. Basically, I take the source code. I didn't modify a lot of because it is working on Conda, and I use the Docker image for Mamba, which is also recommended from Tardis, and I use it to create some basic or the base of the Docker. And I will explain very easy or very quick what is the difference. Static is basically copy all the code from my local or host and put in an image, in Docker image, and then deploy to the container. I will show further. Fragment is a mixing that I will show later. It's a mixing like it has the Mamba package and Conda package in the container and the image and the container, but the code is regarding from my local host, for my local or the host. And the live is 100% live. Everything that I install, I mean ASV and Mamba and all of this, should be great inside of my local source code. And I will show, okay, very, very quick. Basically, I run these instructions for a static. This is for be easier. For me, but basically I declare these two variables, the Docker file and the Docker name, and I build basically this. I build the image. I build I build this image based on this Docker file, which is this Docker file static. This Docker file, okay. Okay. Let's review the static Docker file. Basically, I install nginx. This is basically for all the Docker. Let's say flows, just like vanilla. Let me translate very quick here. Flavors. Yes, I forgot this word. Yes, these flavors, static, fragmented, and live. Basically, all of this install nginx. Why? Because at the end, if we want to see in the local host the image, should be some kind of easy. And I am not using the preview because ASV has the preview. The preview command, if we check here, I have opened it here. ASV should be here. Okay, if we check the reference and then the preview, we have the preview, and we're able to with one command, with ASV command, open some port. But I have some difficulties, and it is not the best option. Because if I do changes, I need to stop and reopen this preview, or they're more complicated. For that reason, I install nginx, which is easy and basically very fast. Then I redirect the HTML path created from nginx for our code. Basically, it take our code. This is static. The static version means like it will take the code that copy from my host or local to the image and the container. Then I clone the reference repositories. This is Tardis ref data and Tardis regression data. And also I install here the GitHub LFS. And this is because in my tests, I noticed that it's better to have these repositories to use rather than only download when I need it. Also, this is on the image. It means like it only downloads one time, and I'm able to use in any container that I create based on the static. Then the first stuff is that I'm taking this this image, this base image from Conda and Miniforge 3. Basically, it has Mamba installed. Well, coming back here, I use the Mamba command and create some environment, installing Python, ASV, and Mamba. Basically, I take this from the Tardis documentation. I init and I create this behavior to when I start my session, my shell session or terminal session, I'm able to deactivate Conda because as per default is activate Conda. I deactivate Conda and then activate Mamba with this environment that I created. Until now looks good, yes. Then I put the work there, or that the path that I will work as a code path, and I copy the Conda Linux 64 log in this path. Let's say like my work path or directory, and I copy that to then install this Mamba. To create the Tardis environment. It is the benchmark environment, basically this. I don't need any file, I only need to create with Python, ASV, and Mamba, but then I create the Tardis Conda environment using the Mamba command, it's no problem, and using this file, okay? Then I copy the Tardis mv3 YAM file and the ASV configuration, and then I set up the machine, basically yes for all the questions, and ASV setup, which basically download the packages that Tardis needs to run ASV. Then I copy all the code, and after that, I run the setup for Tardis as a developer, and I run the PyTest from Tardis. I want to have one comment here. I did on this way because I want to be sure that the unit test is running. And then also I use it during my benchmarking to run some tests and understand it. That's the reason I run in the test, is because I make sure, or I want to make sure that the unit tests are running. Then I run the ASV or the benchmark. I run this specific benchmark to check like it is working, the ASV is working, and then I publish to check like all is good. And then I finish this Docker file with exposing the port 80 as a TPC, adding these arguments to this entry point, which basically is running the nginx with this command. And that's all. If I build, should be some kind of very fast here. If I run the build, basically all of these are on cached because I run a few times, but it's basically doing all the steps that I said, the ASV machine and setup, and then it run here the PyTest and run that. I didn't run with the reference data and regression because this is faster. And then here I create all of this is for unit testing. Yes, here finish the unit testing, and then I do for run the benchmark and ASV publish. This is the benchmark, which is running very good, and all of these are for publish. Okay, and then I'm able to enter to this image. For this, I will take these commands. Right now is running this command because this is the as a daemon. Right now, also, if I open this port, I should be show something. Let's see. No, why? Let me see the containers. Docker. Because I only create the image. Okay. Okay. Yes, there are no containers. I'm able to execute this to create the container. If I show the containers, this is running. And right now, if I refresh that, I have the Tardis page running very good. I have some regressions, not regressions, benchmark list, all of these are working. Okay, and the only test is this because I run the time calculate cell in the image. Okay, then the next command that I need to run is this container is live. I mean, like, this is right now working, and then I will connect to this container. I didn't create a new one. I will connect to this specific container here. Okay, and if I show the directory, looks like that. Okay, here if we notice, we have package and ASV and the code. But if I modify something, for example, touch CCC, and check my code, which is here, for example, here I didn't see my code here. Also, I didn't see the package or the ASV, yes, because I am doing some tests, but it is not the same. Basically, it is not creating anything in my local host. This is my local or my host, and it is not modified. All of this is modifying in the container. Also, if I close this container or kill this container, if I kill this container, stop and kill all of these changes, the CCC file should be disappear and start with the image. What is the image, or what has the image? Well, basically that I mentioned here, all of this setup. Okay, why is this good? Well, because I'm able to, for example, run some tests or whatever, or modify some file here. I'm able to do some modification here, and it didn't affect my original code. Okay, which is this. It didn't affect my original code. My host code or original or live code is here, is not touching. Okay, this is some advantage. I'm able to come back here as a guideline. Easy to set up, yes, only run and use. Straight usage is more, for example, for someone want only run one time, create the image and run one time the container. They don't want to modify any file, anything special. They only want to have this local host view or something like that. Is the best way, is the best option, that the container. It isolates the results and publish them to ASV. Yes, this is isolate. I mean, like, all of these changes in here is not reflected in the ASV. For example, here the ASV, if we check the ASV, it has this environment, HTML, and results. If we go for results, it say like the machine is the build kit sandbox, which is something from the Docker image. But here, if I open the same file, it has results, but this is others. It's not the same information. Okay, this is for someone don't want to complicate, only execute and have this this part of the view. No? Or the other usage is like I want to run like 2 or 3 containers at the same time. I want to do that for some special reason. The cons is like the modifications in local or host are not reflected in the containers, or vice versa. Okay, this is the static setup. Okay, I'm able to exit that, and I will close the container to don't confuse. As container stop this static. Okay, and then also remove container LSO. Okay, there are no containers. Okay, the next is the fragmented. I will show what are the benefits. Let me move here. Okay. Okay, I will explain. Basically it's the same. We have the difference that we have ASV path and code. The ASV path is the path for the ASV environment and Conda, and but this is in the container, and the app code is in our host or my local. Okay, it is the same. Install nginx, git lfs, rename the HTML directory to point to our live code, clone the ref data and regression data. Here, as this is mixed, I mean like one part is in the container, another part is touching our local or host code. I mean like this code here in my local, and I need to set up or create some user to don't create here files with root user. If I didn't do these steps, it will create here a root user file. If I create that zzz file, it's a root, and we don't want that, because if I want to delete, I don't need to use the sudo or something. I only need to delete my file. On this way, I create this user, install, create the benchmark environment with Mamba. Here it's the same basically, and here I move to the ASV path and I create the Conda with Tardis environment. But if you see, I copy the Conda Linux 64 lock in the ASV path in the container path. Then I copy these files also to the ASV, and what else? I copy with the user that I created. Okay, then I rename. This is some trick part. I need to asv-conf. If I open asv-conf here, okay, here I'm not able to say this is ASV results, because this is not in our code. This is created in another path. I need to remove that and say, oh, you need to take the absolute root and say application ASV, like, no, sorry, code. It should be our host path, basically. Well, not our host. This is pointing to our host. Basically, it is pointing to this. Okay, the app code, I do some magic here. This is the fragmented. Yes, I create a volume and say, okay, from here, all the code here. When you have in the container app code, you should be referenced to here, to the host code, not to the container. Okay, is basically that it is saying, and coming back, I need to modify that. Then it take our machine. I need to do the same for HTML, and I need to do the same from benchmarks. Okay, I will show you a little more further. Then I did these modifications that I mentioned, and then I set up the machines, set up ASV, and then I run some benchmark to check that it is correct, publish these results to have a quick visualization, and then I need to add this because the container don't detect like the code path. It means like the application code is safe because at the end it is taking our local path or host path. For that reason, I need to add as a safe directory to don't ask or permit to do any git action. Then here I deactivate Mamba and activate the Conda environment, which is the it looks bad. It should be other. Oh no, yes, yes, the Tardis. This activate the Tardis, and I run the PyTest. Yes, this is correct because I run the PyTest, and then I use Mamba or init Mamba, and then do this magic to start deactivate Conda with the Tardis environment and activate benchmark with Mamba. I use the root to change the directories for application, app Tardis ref, the directories that the repositories that I cloned here, I change to have access as the user. Okay, because remember this is a mixed and this is on the container. These paths are on the container, but I will start the container as my user, as my, let's say I'm as host user. Then I need to modify all of these paths or directories to have access to this content. And then here I change other permission for Python package. This is not necessary at all, but I do some changes and it's better to have this to modify the Python package and do some debug. Then I set up my word dir as an SFA path and then the same. If we see all of this in action, basically is this, it's the same, it is cached. Yes, I run all of this and all of this is cached. It runs the benchmark here and then where else, and publish the result and then run the PyTest or unit test here and it finished here. Then I create the Mamba init to create the host user and modify all of this information. Well, basically is that. And then if I run that, I need to go for fragmented. Yes, I need to run the container. Let's copy these variables. Okay, and then this is build container, not this. Okay, right now it's running docker container. This is running, and then I will connect to this container, not create a new one. Okay, let's see. I'm in ASV. What is the advantage, or why I create this as fragmented or mixed? Because every time I install it, well, the order. Chronologic order was like I create the static first and then I created the live here, this live, but I'm missing something and I create the fragment. The fragment I like it because this package and this environment has a lot of size. If I create some do hd1, if I run this, it will say like the package directory has 2 GB and the environment has 1.8 GB. This is a lot of, and if in the live version, which we will see in next steps, but all of these are reflected here. If I run that in live, it should be appear here the package file director and the ASV, but the environment with 1.3 or 8 GB. And I say like, I don't want to have these specific directories in my local. I want to have in the container. Sorry, in the container created one time by the image. For this reason, I create this. Basically, the modification that I mentioned is that I modify the HTML dir, the result dir, and also the benchmark directory. What else? That's all. Okay. I'm able to run here any benchmark, for example, ASV, run, quick, dry run, and then bench. And let's take something very quick here in benchmark. I don't know if it will take a lot of time. Let's take that. Okay, like that, and should be run. Oh yes, I need to set up this again because when I run the Docker file, it has the name Docker build in some name like that. I don't remember. I show it in the other container, but yes, it has different name. But once it finishes the Docker image, the container has some specific local host. That's the reason I need to set up again. I set up in the build image, but I need to set up one time after when the container is run for first time. Okay, this is working. Hopefully, it's fast. Hopefully. What else in this middle time? Well, in this middle time, I'm able to connect to other or create other connection here. But I need to copy the fragmented here and connected. Okay, this is two. This is working on the benchmark, and also this is I have two connections to the same container. Here, if I go one level down, I see the ASV, which is the container, the code, which is basically redirecting to my local host, my host, and the Tardis ref data and the Tardis regression data, all of this with my user. This host user is basically the same IDs as my ID, which is 1984. Okay. Well, the benchmark is finished. It take this time, and it finished. My benchmark basically is working. Also, I'm able to remove the other options and create that, and also add the time comment to see how much time is working. That I want to show is if I create some do edge to see how much size is having everyone, is the Tardis ref data has 7 gigabytes, the regressions 1.9, ASV as we see it has 3.8, it has the Conda and Mamba packages and files, and the code is 1.6, which is basically this. Is 1.6. Okay, that I want to show is if I go for code now and I create touch and I create the GSoC version 2 and I show here, it is here in my container, but also if I move to my host and do the same instruction, it is here. Is GSoC and the date is well, the time is 23:48 and right now is 23:48. I'm able to delete here from my host rmf, this is an alias, to remove and force the GSoC file. If I delete here in my container is disappearing. Basically this path, the app code path, is linked to my host or my local machine. Okay, with that, why I do the ASV modifications here? If I go for fragmented, why I do all of this? Because the results I want to be on my computer. That what it means. If it is finished, no, it takes some time. But if I go for my local host and I check the ASV results, I see these two machines. Before only was one, but right now are two. If we check the name for this machine on the setup is 33E212, and in my local host I have 33E212. Basically, these results running here in my local are saving in my the results in running in my in the container is storage in my host. Okay, it looks like it take a lot of time. I don't know why, but maybe it was wrong. That I want to show is if I open here the local host, but with 6. Here, this is the fragmented. Why? Because here in the commands that when I run the container, when I create the container, I create under this port 8086. For the static, I create for 8085. I'm able to change these or create 3 containers with different ports, whatever I want to do. But I create this to keep some sort of order and try to be clear. Okay, this is taking a lot of time. Finish. Very good. It finished in 3 minutes 35 seconds. Okay, then I will ASV publish. I am on the container application ASV. Okay, I publish this. And then if I go here in the 6, it should be reflected here or not here. Here, Tardis full, and I have this only one benchmark here. I don't know if it shows the date. Looks like no, but yes, this is just created because I run the time run Tardis from configuration, which is this. Okay, basically I like this flavor for this Docker development setup because I'm able to have all the package, all the big files in the image and container, and then only modify information. What else? For this, I basically work on all the Google Summer of Code on this. I mean, like, I create this benchmark and they run here this benchmark. I change code here in Tardis. I change code in the test and I run here. Also here I like it because I run some tests. If I deactivate Mamba, I deactivate this and then activate the Tardis, which is Conda. Activate, and then I run the PyTest for Tardis. Well, this is something that, yes, this is not working because I need to move to the code. Then run. This is running the test. Also, I do some tests here. Let me see. No, I close it. No, open. Yes, I also run this test, which using the Tardis ref data here, and this is working. Basically, I'm able to do that. It take a long time, but I'm able to do that, and it will take the Tardis reference. If we check here. In this, it skips the gamma ray transport because it needs the reference data. But if we see here, I will stop. If we see here, it is running the test gamma ray. Basically, you are able to run Tardis, you are able to run unit test with PyTest, and you are able to run ASV benchmark with this setup. Okay. The last one is the live version. Is something that I don't like a lot of. I mean, like, I don't use a lot of, but let's see the live version. Okay, for that, let me check my notes. He's fragmented. Yes, pros. I take the live source code. the ASV result and ASV results. This is duplicate. HTML and result are created in the code. The folders PKG and ASV environment is created in the image and dynamic using the container. Cons, if you want to test the or introduce changes in ASV config, this is not reflected in the code. Yes, if I modify in this fragmented version, we are here in fragmented. If I use this fragmented version and I want to do a lot of tests or changes in the ASV conf and testing, it will don't work because this is not the ASV is not taking this file. It's taking the file created in the ASV code, which is modified during the creation of the image. If you want to test, you need to change here manually app code asv.asv. You need to set up this to work on the container, and then you need to copy this file in your host. You need to copy this file in the ASV. It's more complicated, but yes, and with more than one container, the result, yes, if I create more containers here, it means like I run this instruction to create containers and changing something like that, like 7, 8, 9. Right now I have 4 different containers, but all of these, if I run and publish these, if I run on these containers the benchmark, all of these will be created on the local here. If you want to have some isolation, it is not possible, or you need to do manual changes. Basically, all the containers created for Fragmented are sharing the same space, okay? And also for live. Fragmented and live are sharing the same container, okay? The next one is the live. The live, let's open here. This is the live, copy this. And then I need to the compose. Yes, for live I use compose because it has more configuration, more stuff, and I think it's better to use the compose, the Docker compose, which is basically this. I am able to set up the host name. I am able to put user here in this YAM file, the ports, all of this. And also I create on purpose to demonstrate other way, no, to create a Docker image with compose. With that, yes, this is not, yes, this is this. The live is Docker file. Is basically the same. Nginx, git lfs. Rename the web page or the path for the web page, download the repos, create the user, same as Fragmented, create the benchmark environment for Mamba, which ASV, Mamba, and Python, create the Tardis with Conda, and that's all. I don't run any code here and all of this because this is the image, and the image should be static. And all the code should be on the live version, okay? For that, let's run some commands here. Okay, is image no, compose, yes, I need to up this or create this container and detach. It's not daemon, it's detach, sorry. Here I say detach for here, daemon, but it's detach. And then this is created. Yes, the port is here in the YAM. It's a 8087. If I run the local host 87, yes, it is showing something. Okay, and then why is showing? Because it is taking my local host. Well, sorry, my host. The files from my host. Basically, if I look for this benchmark here, it is showing because it takes the changes for the fragmented. Basically, anything in my host. Okay. For this, if what I need to do, go for this, yes, and this. I'm a little lost. Yes, I need to create a container here. Yes. And the same. If I create touch. If I create a GGG file, YYY file, sorry, and I show here in my host, it should be here, the YYY. And the same, if I remove here and I check in my host, it is not. In the container, it's not showing, and also in my host. Okay, the benefits for this, I have some example what I forgot. It was during the last week trying to do this setup, and I was tentative to install something. I don't remember, maybe the memray or something, and it was more easy if I run here in the live. But basically I didn't touch for a long time, I mean for 1 week or 1 week and a half the live, because that more useful for me, the Docker or the Docker more useful for me was the Fragmented. But yes, for example, here we don't have packages. Let me remove the ASV folder. Okay, and we don't have ASV and we don't have the packages folder. Then here manually I need to run this. I need to run the ASV setup. The ASV setup basically set up the ASV. It take some files from Tardis, the ASV and the Tardis environment YAM, and it detect what package needs and download and install. Okay, let's wait. Okay, it finished. Yes, with any error. If I check this again, I have right now the ASV and the package. If I do some do command, it show like maybe with one sort. H. Okay, as we see, we have the ASV having 1.7 gigabytes. And I don't see package is very low, should be more, like 3 gigabytes, but I don't know what is very low. But yes, if this is a container and this is the host. In the container, if I run the next command to set up the machine, should be good. It add dev abc, which I set up in the YAM file here. And then if I run this, I'm able to run this here. Let me show what has ASV. ASV don't have only the environment. Okay, let's run. Oh, but it take a lot of time. I forgot. Oh no, time calculate is very, very fast. It's like 10 seconds for this and 10 seconds for the benchmarking. Okay. Okay, it's running. Obviously, if I refresh this, it should be not find any file, because right now I delete the HTML in the host here in the host. I redirect the nginx container folder to here, to as.asv/html. For that, I run the asv publish. Then it appears here. HTML, and then if I refresh here, we have that. And we only have the, if I see the list, I only have the time calculate cell. I don't have any more files, okay? And basically that's all. Let me check my notes to don't forget something. Live, yes, it takes the live source of code, and you are able to change the ASV config on your code, and it will contain, it will reflect in the container if you want to do some test. The cons is the folder PKG and the ASV environment are created in the code folder and the live, and they have a gigabyte size. With more than one container, same as the fragmented, the ASV folder will be shared in the same place. It means the same if I create more containers for this composer, for this service, I create more than one services here in the compose. It should be take the app code or the path for the app code. It should be taken from my host, and also it will be mix both. This is not a problem, but if you want some specific result or something, it could be a problem. And with that, I see that's all. It is all. Let me check. Yes, basically it is all that I have. Thank you. See you.